What's going on YouTube? I'm E and this is SimplyPut Scents. And I wanted to talk to you guys about a fragrance that came out in the year 2011 by the house Labo. And the fragrance is Another 13. I want to send a special shout out and thanks to A2 for allowing this review to be possible. He gifted me this bottle and I really am thankful for the fragrance. Thanks so much, A2. So let's go back to this fragrance, guys. Labo and Another magazine collaborated and basically came out with this fragrance called Another 13 in 2011. There were only 500 bottles made at the time, and the bottles pretty much sold out like that. Because the response of those 500 purchases was so profound and positive, Labo decided to continue the discontinued fragrance and sell it at the store Colette, which is located in Paris, France. And I do believe the Colette store also had something to do with the collaboration between Another magazine and Labo. What does this scent smell like? Pretty much it smells like paper from a magazine. Imagine like a fresh magazine straight out of the plastic. That's kind of what this fragrance smells like. It's like clean and dirty all at the same time. The fragrance is really held down by 3 notes in my opinion. One note which isn't really mentioned but is so obvious to my nose is the note of EMITSU Super. I'm very positive it's one of the 13 ingredients in Another 13. And it also performs like an EMITSU Super scent, but I'll discuss that a little later. It's also held down by ambrette seeds, which has a synthetic scent of musk to it. It's almost like a natural substitute for natural musk, since natural musk is not available in fragrances these days. But this scent is also and most dominantly held down by ambroxan, which also lends to the musky nature of the scent, but adds also a creaminess and a woodiness to the fragrance. You have also fruity aspects, but in my opinion what you get really is like this musky ambrette, this really interesting mineral-like musky ambroxan, and this very green, masculine EMITSU Super. It's almost as if Labo and Another magazine basically said, let's create a fragrance that smells like a magazine. And somebody at Labo said,
yeah, let's go for that. That sounds like a great idea.
The funny thing is though, guys, is it was an awesome idea. This fragrance is very alluring, very sexy, and again is one of the cleanest, dirtiest musks I've ever smelled. Performance. Now, Another 13's performance will shock you. When you first spray it, it comes across as a very light fragrance that really won't do much, that really won't go anywhere, that really won't push out and like leave trails, but this scent is definitely persistent. It's very persistent. Now, some people will be anosmic to the smell of this fragrance and will feel like it just disappeared on them. But no, it doesn't, guys. It's definitely a fragrance that will trick a lot of noses. You know, they say some people cannot smell musk. Well, this is definitely a musk-heavy fragrance and some people will not get it. But what I found is that it can go anywhere as much as 10 hours with very strong projection. I think this fragrance is something you could probably wear as a signature fragrance if you wanted to. But personally, I like to wear this fragrance more for like dates and intimate moments. That's when I think this fragrance will definitely shine. It's not too strong. A lot of women, guys, like fragrances that are mellow but smell good at the same time. They don't like fragrances that bombard you, because at the end of the day, they want their fragrance to be like the star of the show. I think you could wear this fragrance in the day. I think this fragrance can be worn all year round. I think you could wear this fragrance at night during the summers with no problem. So guys, uniqueness. And I honestly feel like the uniqueness of this fragrance is really, really where this fragrance will shine. I don't find that there are a lot of fragrances that are doing what this scent does. It's very, very unique in my opinion. It smells like a magazine. Like, it smells like a perfumed magazine. Like, think about that. There are notes in this fragrance that will definitely scream at you and remind you of other fragrances that have similar notes in it. There are not too many fragrances that are using those notes the way this fragrance uses those notes. Now, the value of this fragrance is interesting, and it really depends on your taste. It costs $165, I believe, in a 50 ml and around $225 or something like that in a 100 ml. So yeah, if you're a fan of modern styled fragrances, this fragrance may appeal to you. If you're a fan of fragrances that smell musky in a clean or in a dirty way, this fragrance may appeal to you. Now, if you're a fan of that real skanky, dirty musk, maybe you won't like this too much, but you might appreciate what this scent is doing. It's just that interesting. Would I buy this fragrance if it wasn't gifted to me? Hell no. To the no, no, no. Hell to the no. Probably not. And the only reason why is because I know that in this fragrance there is kind of like this animalic style of musk in it, and before I smelled this fragrance, that style of musk has always turned me off. So I would have probably rejected this fragrance just off of the comments that I've read about it. Now that would have been a mistake, because I would have been missing out on a fragrance that's well done. Compliments. Now the compliment factor.
It's off the chain, baby.
Yes, compliment factor is high. People will notice this fragrance, and people will like this fragrance. That's just all I can say. It's shocking though. It shouldn't be as well received as it is, but it is. It's one of the reasons why I like it for dates. Negatives. Now, some people will say the negatives of this fragrance is that it's too expensive. Some people will say that the negatives of this fragrance is they don't like the musk. The musk is too animalic for some people. Some people might say that it's too light for them. It really shouldn't be so light for a fragrance that costs so much, you know? Again, I don't think it's light at all. It's definitely a strong and definitely a present scent. Some people just don't notice it. A lot of people will claim that the fragrance also is very linear. They'll say that they don't want to spend niche prices for a fragrance that doesn't do anything. That I totally disagree with, and I'll tell you why. Now, modern perfumery is fragrances that are made up of synthetic notes, and they don't really go anywhere. They don't really do anything. They capture an essence and keeps that essence for the remainder of the life of the scent. It's not about unfolding pyramids and stuff like that. It's just, this is what you get, and this is what it's doing, and this is what it's trying to be, and that's that. It's linear on purpose, you know? It's supposed to be linear. It's supposed to smell like a magazine. It's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be conceptual. It's supposed to be unique. That's what you got. So guys, as you know, I like to rank fragrances in what I call the P.A.G.E rating system, and that is P for poor, A for average, G for good, and E for exception. Where does another 13 by Labo land on the page? Well, Labo's Another 13 is technically a chemical mess. Now, this fragrance is very synthetic, like I said. But again, that's what the house wanted. That's what they created. A magazine fresh off the press has this inky dirtiness to it. This dirtiness that comes from the ink with this cleanliness that comes from the paper and the heat and the warmth of the printing press. It has like this really comforting smell. And this fragrance captures that. I give props to fragrances and perfumers of fragrances that go for something, you know. They like go for a theme and they just go all out to capture that theme. I love that in fragrances. It's rare these days because a lot of fragrances really get their inspiration from other fragrances, not as much themes and ideas anymore, you know, or environments anymore, you know. In niche perfumery though, you do get fragrances with themes, with concepts. And as a niche fragrance, I have to say that Another 13 is definitely a great fragrance. But it's more than a great fragrance, guys. This fragrance, in my opinion, is exceptional. It's exceptional. I feel like Another 13 is on an elite level. Some people are gonna say,
well, how are you gonna give this fragrance an E and it doesn't really do anything? It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't like do anything, you know. How is this an E?
you have to pay attention to the style of the scent, guys. I'm not just talking about fougères and aromatics and florals. I'm not talking about those styles. But this fragrance represents, in my opinion, a style change in perfumery. It ushers in modern perfumery in a way that Labo has been like really one of the forerunners of. Labo has been one of the main houses for modern perfumery, for fans of modern fragrances. And they do that style of fragrance very, very well. And I would honestly say that Another 13 is an excellent example of modern perfumery. I could definitely say this is one of the best additions to my collection this year. Absolutely, without question, in the top 5. Without question. Love this fragrance. And I'm very, very, again, grateful to A2 for sending this because, man, did this change my mind about musk. Seriously. So guys, I doubt a lot of you have smelled this fragrance, but I'm sure some of you have. And if you have, please let me know what you think of this scent. I find it very, very, very beautiful. And also like this video if you appreciated it. And if you're not subscribed to SimplyPut Scents, hit that subscribe button and that bell. I'd appreciate it. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm E, and this is Simply Put Scents. And I'm Simply O-U-T. Peace. From the house of T.A.G.E, Pure Tonka. And from the house of Tom Ford Noir Extreme. So yeah, I'm really excited about smelling these two. We're gonna unwrap both of these joints first, and then we're gonna spray both and see what they're doing.